I, Susan Hawk,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the duties
I will faithfully execute the duties
of the Office of Criminal District Attorney,
of the Office of Criminal District Attorney,
State of Texas.
State of Texas.
Her own personal struggles, though, forced Susan Hawk to step down as Dallas County District Attorney less than 2 years after being sworn into office. Dallas therapist Marie Krebs is here with us to talk about that. Depression, incredibly common out in the population, not as commonly talked about.
Right. Unless something like this happens. And I just have to say, I think that Susan Hawk is incredibly courageous, extraordinarily resilient. Being able to bring forth a mental health issue like depression and speak so candidly about it is a real gift, actually, because it's, my hope is that it will allow people to begin to recognize, maybe even in themselves or a loved one, that, you know, help is available to them.
And all too often people who say, I have depression, I'm in depression, they hear the cliche, well, you know, shake it off, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, get over it, move on.
Right.
It is, in a lot of, it's a mental issue, it's also a physical issue for a lot of people.
Absolutely. And, you know, usually what I say to people is, if they could, they would.
Yeah.
But somebody who is clinically depressed, or someone who is really who's struggling with depression, it physically affects them. You know, there's a heaviness around the body, their motivation, and this is not just a in their head kind of a thing. I think so many people, you know, when it comes to health issues, we want to cut us off at the neck and just examine these parts of our body.
Right.
But mental illness is something that affects our brain.
Right, and it can be a physical issue that in some cases medication can be a lot of help, but also what you would refer to as talk therapy is equally important. You got to have somebody to talk to.
Absolutely. Well, I think it's a combination of things. I think it is medication, but it is definitely talking to somebody, but there's also a lot of activities, and that's usually what I work with folks, is giving them things that they can do.
Real quickly, how do I know if it's I'm having a bad day, now I'm having another bad day? How do we know, what's the barrier between that and clinical depression?
Well, what I do is somebody needs to be assessed. If you think if you're just having a series of bad days, sometimes people have episodic depression, right? Following a grief or loss around something, whether it's a job or relationship. But having a series of bad days, people around you are saying, you know, something's just not right, you seem off. Go and see a professional. Go and talk to somebody so that you can have a proper assessment and get some help.
Right, and if you have health insurance to cover the rest of your body, you almost certainly have health insurance that will cover
mental health issues.
Mental health, absolutely. Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.